Yo everybody, welcome to a creative build that I want to do. I've got this cool idea and I'm gonna bring it to life in this episode. So the idea, let's go over the idea really quick. The idea is sort of like, you know those buildings where they use the hull of a boat as the roof? Well, it kind of takes that approach. I've gone ahead and mapped out, I don't know if you would call it the spine of the boat. What would you call the bottom of the hull? Let's call it the spine for now. My inventory is super weird. So, I am on System Z's server, and he's got some textures of his own and stuff. He's got his own resource pack. One of them is cherry wood, which is what I'm going to be using for the bulk of the hull. I'm just going to gradually ease into the transition here, like so. So this build is going to be very Nordic themed. It's going to involve a lot of snow, pretty wintry since it is winter and coming up to Christmas time. So there's going to be snow all around. We're going to do some terrain work. That's always fun. So I'm just getting an idea of the shape of the hull. Now, if I just went at an angle like this, it would become too narrow at the top. And if I have rooms towards the top, then it's not going to be of much use. And if you're having a hard time visualizing it, the bottom of the hull is like that. It's like an angle into the ground. I kind of like this for the shape of the hull. I'm just going to do it one side at a time. This way I can work out the way that I really want it. If I do two sides and decide I want to change something, then I have to change both sides. So we're going to do one side at a time, make sure that it's the way that I want it, and then copy it on the other side. So now that I've got this down, I can make a smoother transition, a better curve to it, and we can... Hello? Did I not put that in my inventory? Come here. Thank you. And then we can change out all of these blocks. And that should make it look a little more rounded instead of all blocks. So yeah, I like this shape. We can take it a step further, and little details like this are important. Put the ones in the ground that would be there. So this would be here if we were to continue the slope down. And then later on, we are doing lots of snow. So possibly that gets covered up with snow. For now, I'm not worried about that. I just want to get the details in and then cover it with the details that is snow that kind of go on top, like layers, right? Layers in a drawing, like when you're in Photoshop and doing multiple things. So this is the stage of the build where you can't get discouraged because, well, I like my shape, but it's not exactly pretty. But that doesn't mean that just because it's not pretty now, that's not going to end up being pretty. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I had to get over when I was learning how to get better at building. It was like, I don't like this, and I'd stop building something. So now I'm just looking over it to make sure that everything is the same. Everything looks the same from that angle. The best angle that we're going to get to look at it is right here. I'm going to make sure that these shapes are all the same. It appears that they are, so I'm going to go in and give it the stair treatment over here, just like I did over there. All right, now the front of it. So I said that this was going to be a like Nordic style inspired build, and part of that's going to come into play here. So when I think of Nordic boats, think like Vikings. I always think of those exaggerated front decorative pieces on boats, right? So let's just mock one up, what it would look like. I kind of want... So there's going to be a building tucked into this. So there's going to be walls of like a different material along here, right? And then hanging over that, I want this structure. And I'm not sure that we're gonna find exactly what we want it to look like without putting in the rest of the boat. This is one of those things that you really have to build it and then step back and take a look at it. But I think there's some things that we can do that have potential. So we could do something like, let's do this. So let's give it a curved look by doing, I have to do this the difficult way, of course. No, I want this way, you'll see the shape that I'm trying to come up with, I swear. Right, that curved look. And then we can make this into a better curved shape. That. And that's about the shape that I want. It's just kind of whether or not I need to move it forward a little bit. I feel like I might, like this right here. This doesn't look right to me for some reason. It might look better if I put that there. That does look better to me. What if I had this as a full block? That looks even better still. Because it just looked, it dipped down unlike this one did. It didn't follow the flow. And so now we have to find a way to match up this with this. So I'm gonna, let's see, let's do one of these deals. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in and up. I'm just making sort of a guideline. I kind of taking a step back and looking again. You kind of just have to have a feel for this, I think. It's hard to explain what exactly I'm thinking, but to me it looks like this is flat too long. So this block needs to come down one. And that looks, you also have to kind of like tilting my head to look at this as if it were a bolt facing the right direction. So I kind of want this angle right here to be uniform throughout the whole thing, right? Maybe you could get away with having it come up like even, and then slope this way. Maybe. Possibly, but I think that what we've got right here is good. So I'm gonna copy that over here. Now filling in these so that it's nice and organic or a nice round feeling, it's kind of difficult. You gotta start with the shapes that you know are gonna be there. I know that this flat part's gonna be there, so then I can ease into the transition by maybe that's probably gonna go there, and then I'm probably gonna have to put that there. And are these all gonna have to come straight up? I feel like I don't want them to come straight up. What if we did this? What if we did that instead? See, now I don't like that because this would make the spine part a lot deeper right here than the rest of the boat. It just doesn't make much sense compared to the rest of it. But I'm not sold on that yet. Let's bring this forward. That. I'm not sure that I care for that. And that. Something looks off, right? We also have the option of making this part look a little less strange by working in building aspects into it. Putting in a window. Or a chimney. Something like that. I think I'm going to settle on what we had. I don't remember what we did have, though. Now that I've got the shape of this down, which ended up being this, by the way, and I believe it's even on both sides, I've got to figure out a little bit more of my color palette. So I also want the building in here to be wood, but I'm also going to mix in a type of wood in here when I get more into the detailing phase. So let's figure out which one looks best in here. So that's jungle wood, and then that one's also very close. I think that one, ooh, I don't know. See, that one's nice and dark, and for some reason, I always associate that color with snow. Maybe because it's like spruce, a lot of times they'll have snow in those biomes. I think that we're gonna go with the spruce just to figure out what color palette we want, so we're not gonna use that right away. But that means I'm pretty sure I want oak. Let's lay that down and just look at the color. Yeah, that stands out a good bit, which is what I want. I'm just gonna lay down a very, very basic outline of where I want this inside section of the building to be. So here's an example of maybe when you don't like your build. And I've put into these walls, and I know that I kind of want it set about this far into it, so when you're walking up to it, you can see 2 or 3 stories, and you can see this. This is like a prominent feature in the build, but it's not quite doing it for me, and now I just kind of got to figure out why. Maybe putting in the details, the doors, the windows and stuff will make it look better for me, but I'm thinking it's not, so I just gotta kind of figure out what I'm not liking. Alright, I think I've identified my first problem, and that was I didn't feel like over here, like it felt like it was tucked into the boat. Over here, I get that feeling. So let's take this pillar, oopsies, and move it on over, because I don't like it being flush with that wall. And this wall is also going to have to go. And that means that this front wall is going to become even more narrow, which is fine. We're just going to, if I can get the right block, bring that down. And yeah, I think I like that more. Let's change this side to match. So this tickles my fancy just a tiny bit more than what we had before. I see you block that shouldn't be there. That's important, that little space there, because it gives the effect of it being tucked away in here. So this still pretty ugly. That's fine. It's just a template to work with. This is like a second floor, and I wanted to kind of map that out. I wanted to separate the second floor from the first floor in some way. So let's get in some defining features right now. So let's put in the door. Now we have the option of putting it right in the middle, which I don't really like. So let's actually put it to the side. And that is against that log, so that's a little different, but I think that's okay. Let's go to doors, and I think he does have a few retextured doors. Let's pull out this cherry oak and see what it looks like for us. Let's put it on top of, let's grab some stone for now. Just a brick. Make sure that we're not grabbing monster eggs. I do not want that. I don't know if they would work on the server anyway. Can I get down? Get down! That's weird. That's a weird retexture, Z. That's okay. I like it. I'm not sure if I'm sold on it being right next to the log yet, though. Another thing that we could do is end the log and somehow transition that. That would... Ooh. I like the idea. I'm just not sure how to go about doing it. Like it's resting on that wall. I'm not sure. For now, let's put it in the middle. Just because I want it in a normal place where I don't have to... Where I don't feel like I have to rework the entire layout of this. For now, that's fine if I do end up deciding to do something like that. Now, let's throw in some sort of window up here, and that will go in the middle because glass just doesn't look good on an edge. It doesn't. We could maybe even put a third floor up there with a somewhat of an attic window. I'm not sure. Something else that we could do is, if we use a stair, what kind of stair should we use? Now, this is the point where I have to decide, do I want any stone in my build? And I'm gonna say no, I want this to be entirely wood. So let's actually grab some of the same wood that we've used for the roof, and we already have it, and do one of these deals. And we can put glass right there, and we're gonna use a pane. Do I know what kind? We kind of have a reddish color. I wonder if, or maybe we just go with brown. That would probably fit. Although, no, that fits fine. And then we can even mix up the shape of this wall right here. I'm sorry, by the way, every time that I go to type, I kind of have to reach around my mic. So if I ever bump it, sorry. So let's just put that in there. What do we think of that? Well, first of all, the glass pane doesn't attach to that, so that means that we're gonna have to use full blocks if we want to do that. And none of this is final yet. All of this, see, now I don't like it. Now I feel like it kind of ruins ruins the feeling of what I was trying to go for. So let's just go back to what we had and go back to the pane. And then we can always do something like this. And I want something there, maybe a slab. See, there's a lot of work that you can put into just one little area, just to get the shape right. So we could either do something like that, which doesn't look horrible, but I'm not sure that I love it, or we could just do something like that. Either way, I don't know that I love it. And up here, this doesn't even need to be a window on a third floor. It can just be one of those windows that's tucked away up really high, so you're standing here and it's just kind of like a sunlight or whatever you would call it. We could also use spruce wood for this, and that might be better. I'm not sure. We don't want to introduce too many woods, I don't think, but something here I feel has to change. I've spent a lot of time since the last cut and this one working on stuff because it took a lot of back and forth stuff. It's been about an hour of just placing a block, standing back. I don't like that. Remove it, change it into a block. And then another thing that really helps, go into your inventory and look at what you have. Like, you just forget about stuff sometimes, or you see something, you're like, the color's right. Let's see if I can find a way to use this. And maybe you do. So let's look at the most important thing I think that I did. And that's the front. I was spending a lot of time right before I cut trying to figure out what to do here, and I just didn't like it. But I had the idea of making this kind of oval, because if you make this, if you make this just flat like this, it still works. Honestly, it looks a lot better now. So that actually tells me that there's a lot more going on here than just that shape, because I still like it even after I pull that away. But it adds some shape to it, makes this look separate from that in its own way, not just coming out, jutting out. And then I added a pillar here, which put the door back onto the side. But I didn't like the door next to that pillar, so that gave me the opportunity to move the pillar back, which gives the whole front end a whole new depth. And it gave me a 1x1 or a 1x3 spot right here to put a window. And then I just got a little creative right here, really small. You can't even jump here. I'm trying to jump, but you can fit under there if you just put trapdoors right there. And then I put red carpet on top of it, and it's just kind of an entrance way before you get in there. I thought it looked kind of cool. Maybe not super practical, but you can still get in there. And then I capped this roof this window right here. And I realized while I was doing this that I didn't really like too high windows. I thought the one high window, the kind of port windows, fit this style very well. But I do have one right there, and then there's a port window up there with a shutter. Over here, there's just a port window. Another thing like this, we could do anything. We could put, by the way, these are wool that are retextured to barrels. We could put stuff like that under there, and we could pull this out maybe to here, and then, oopsies, and then gives us more room to play around with. Okay, that's a pain in the butt. It's so hard to work with trapdoors when you're trying to fly. We could do something like that. That works, right? That works. We could even, I don't know if I like it that much, but it looks like crates in the ground. Now, that doesn't make much sense, but did it anyway. Let's actually bring this over to here. Just adds a little bit of continuity to it. Then there's a chimney. Yeah, chimney. This is spiderwebs and just kind of peters out. I like the way that it did that. And I added a window up into the hull, broke away the hull a little bit. And actually, let me change that into that. And then did feel free while I was doing that to change up the pattern of the hull. It didn't need to look perfect in those spots. So let's go over to the other side. And here I added a side door, little entrance thing over it, and then put some barrels over there. You could, if you're doing this with a vanilla texture pack, you could easily use hay and it would work just as well. Add a window. Oh yeah, I also that was weird. I added in, hello words, clay, and this is probably the best one that I thought went with oak. It's a toss-up. None of them go great, but you know, it matches the reddish style of this cherry wood. Just kind of gotta look at what you're working with. A little bit of reddish, and I worked right into the whole thing. So I added this ladder, which goes up to a storage area up here. Knocked back this wall, door there, and then there's some storage here. And this is one of my favorite things I add, because I had this big wall and I didn't know what to do with it. So it's like being held up by trapdoors, and there's the barrels in there, and there's a little peep area right there. You can come here and you can see outside. I thought that was really cool. I like that. I don't really care for the look of ladders, to be honest. I don't know what else you could do to make that better. Also, you don't need the bottom one for one, so that maybe gets rid of some of it. And I don't know, maybe you could do something like that. I really don't like that though. Doesn't make any sense, but it's Minecraft. Maybe it doesn't have to. And then I added another window over here, which is missing its glass. So let's get the glass up there. Yeah, that's right where I wanted to put that. And a flag. Yeah, a pretty simple flag. Kind of made sure that was blowing in the same direction roughly as the smoke. Kind of is. The smoke's blowing more this way and the flag more this way, but it's okay. I used light gray, and red. Kind of got the white from the snow, the light gray from the stone, and the red from the cherry wood and the carpet, and it all just kind of comes together. It's a good color palette. I really do like it. I think I did this since I added in spruce wood into the hull and snow all around like this. Just kind of works out. So that's what the outside of this building is going to look like. We may still make some changes to it here and there while we work on it. The next step is going to be interior. I want a fully fleshed out interior because this is quite a bit of room to work with. I mean, once we clutter it up, it's not going to be a ton, but it's room to work with. I think it'll be pretty good. Back here, we have some good room to work with. This would actually be a good place to live in. I think it could work. And then we'll do some environmental stuff, some terrain stuff, and that will pull the build along quite a bit. So look forward to that. That's going to be next episode. Before we go, I did make a change. I'd actually ended the episode and I had someone come over here and tell me what they thought, and they were absolutely right. This needed to come out more. It was like, bloop, just bloop, fell right off. It didn't look good. This looks, if I were to rotate this, like, so that it was normal, I think this would look much more natural. And we can probably do more shape work in here, and I probably will, but this looks much better in my opinion. And the important thing is how it feels when you're walking up to it. It's supposed to feel like you're walking up to something enclosed by this hole. You get the feeling of that. Oh, I love it. That's a good feeling right there. Look at that, now you're enclosed. I like it. Maybe we shouldn't have so much snow around here because it's under this big roof. That's something for next episode when we add environment stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!